Whether it's 86,400 seconds or 1,440 minutes, either way you look at a day, Nick Knudsen is here to share with us a big day.
It's nearly midnight. We walk slowly in the shadows next to the barbed wire fence surrounding the runway. We haven't slept in over 26 hours. A car pulls up. The window rolls down. It's a cop. "What's going on?" he asks. "Is someone fleeing the country?" "No, it's much more serious than that. We're looking for a bird," we tell him. A whippoorwill. He's never heard of it. To explain why we're there, I have to go back to early March, when we drove 3 hours north to catch a glimpse of a great gray owl. Over celebratory poutine, Lewis suggested we do a big day in Vermont this spring. While many people may hear the word birding and think of a leisurely walk in the woods, a big day is nothing if not intense. 24 hours of birding from midnight to midnight, with the goal to find as many bird species as possible in a given area. It takes a special kind of obsession to tackle this challenge. A big day is a logistical nightmare. Resident species, breeders, migrants, nocturnal callers, all overlapping for just a week or two in late May. We spend 2 months planning, deep in spreadsheets, scouting locations, tracking down birds, spending hours tracking down birds that we need to find in minutes on the day of. May 23rd, we managed to sleep a few hours and wake up at 10 p.m. We're at the mouth of the Winooski, counting down the seconds to midnight. Then we listen intently. 10 minutes pass. In the distance, a soft tremolo, the eastern screech owl. We pile into the car and drive into the night. In the dark, the birds come slowly. With our hands cupped to our ears, standing in fields, marshes, and woods, we listen for the chortle of a cuckoo flying overhead in migration. The thonking of an American bittern from the reeds. The hoot of a great horned owl from the woods. By dawn, we've recorded 30 species. Suddenly, the sky lightens and birds are singing from every direction. We are overwhelmed. We strike out on the Louisiana water thrush at Heinsberg Cemetery, but Taryn remembers having one a few years ago at Lake Iroquois. We hear it singing in the same spot and somehow stay on schedule. Bingham Brook Road, early successional habitat. Great looks at a golden-winged warbler, which has been nearly extirpated from the Appalachians at 98% decline in the last 40 years. We also managed to see blue-winged and prairie warblers here and are graced by a visit from a ruby-throated hummingbird. At Catamount Center, we hear a song that doesn't sound quite right. We managed to get eyes on the bird. It's a Philadelphia vireo. We are ecstatic. This is a bird we never expected to see today. In the 1970s, this species reliably bred in the Northeast Kingdom. Today, it's only rarely seen migrating to and from breeding grounds further north. By 7:30 a.m., we've hit 100 species. At Colchester Pond, Gavin and I are jogging back to bring the car around when a birder coming the other way excitedly asks, "What bird are you running for?" "We're doing a big day, so all of them," we reply. We don't have time to see if she's disappointed. We head north to Franklin County. Fairfield Swamp is a complete bust. No sandhill cranes, no trumpeter swans, but we keep racking up the species. Common tern, lesser scaup, great black-backed gull, ruddy turnstone, red-tailed hawk, great egret, bald eagle, yellow-throated vireo. They keep coming. We head to the Franklin County Airport, one of the only locations in the state for breeding grasshopper sparrows. We hear its buzzy insect-like song. Lewis spies a mockingbird, and we all get our eyes on it. False alarm, it's a dove. It turns around, and its tail flicks up. It is a mockingbird. This one appears to have unlocked visual mimicry. It's now mid-afternoon, and many birds go quiet. We have to work hard for every new species. We head to Rock River, where we heard a prothonotary warbler earlier in the week. There's a car being towed, loudly. The bird is not singing. It's seen again half an hour after we leave. From there, we head to the Northeast Kingdom. It's a 2-hour drive, 2 hours without seeing birds, but it just might be worth it if we can snag some boreal species. We arrive at Moose Bog only 12 minutes behind schedule, and managed to find black-backed woodpecker, olive-sided flycatcher, and several warbler species, but no Canada jay, usually the most conspicuous bird there. In the morning, we had missed blue-headed vireo, and I desperately wanted one. I thought I saw one and pointed it out, but it was just a female black-throated blue warbler. They don't look that similar, but in my defense, at this point, I hadn't slept more than 3 hours at once in almost 3 days. We managed to hear one on Stone Dam Road, number 150. Darkness falls. We drive 2 hours back to the Franklin County Airport for a chance to hear a whippoorwill. Whips used to be synonymous with summer nights. Countless poems and folk songs have been written referencing their haunting song. But there's a reason the COP had never heard of them. Their populations have drastically declined. We managed to hear a solitary whippoorwill and end the day with 151 species, a massive success by any standard. Lewis was the only one of us who had done a big day before, so for a new team and a new route, it was especially impressive. But the whippoorwill, the Philadelphia vireo, and the golden-winged warbler are not the only declining bird species. Overall, the number of individual birds in the US has fallen by 29% in just 40 years. The leading cause is habitat loss. Many species require very specific habitats to breed in, winter in, and stop over at along their migrations. Second only to habitat loss are cats. Cats kill about 4 billion birds in the US alone every year. I love cats. So if you are a cat owner, I please urge you to keep your cats indoors because research has shown that indoor cats lead longer and healthier lives. So you'll be saving 2 birds with 1 stone. It's not hopeless though. The peregrine falcon was extirpated from the eastern US, and Vermont now supports a stable breeding population thanks to reintroduction. If we all work together, we can preserve these disappearing habitats. I would like future generations to be able to see just as many birds as we did.